Advanced classification in FlexiCapture continued. So when we look at precision versus recall, precision is focused on how many documents were falling into the right classification category, into the right bucket, whereas with recall, we're looking at a measurement of all documents that actually were of Class A, how many were properly labeled as Class A. And in FlexiCapture's graphical user interface, you can set a balance. You can rather prioritize high recall, high precision, or leave it at the default, which is midway between high recall and high precision. So how you set that depends on your problems and your goals. For instance, if you set a document to high precision, you are trying to address a problem such as an invoice being labeled as a legal document and then sent to the legal department and it is not paid. So that's a pretty significant problem, and high precision is the right setting for that sort of scenario, whereas high recall might be when you want to be more inclusive and try to get as many hits as you can. And the cost there is you'll probably be getting unnecessary documents that don't truly fit the criteria to match that class, and you'll have to go in and perform some additional steps, maybe creating some rules in Flexi Layout Studio. So let's talk about setting up a classification solution. Here at kind of a high level, we can see that we can classify documents into different types. And then once we do that, we can classify them further into different variations. So in the case of driver's licenses, once we classify as a document as a certain type of driver's license, then we could drill down and specify which state that driver's license came from. And some email capabilities, we could classify incoming text messages. Maybe these are support issues. All right, is there internet connection issues or sound or speed issues with a given tech support flow of data? So we can go in and specify a specific class, like invoice, contract, or letter, and then we can go into a variant, and those are displayed here. Like for automobiles, we have these different variants for each class. When building our classification algorithm, we can specify a class that's specifically for the first page of a set of documents, and the next class would be any page. So that's under item 3 on this slide. One can probably proceed with good success by including at least 3 documents and as many as 100 documents for a given class. And when you create a classification training batch, you need to have at least 2 classes. Technically, you could learn from just 1 document, but you could go as far as 2,000 documents per batch. And you might want to set up a trash class for your outliers and train those documents that are not targeted to be recognized as trash, and they could be disposed of later on. When you set up a classification training batch, you bring in representative documents and you set things such as whether or not you want to do text classification or image classification, a combination of both, and you set either high precision or high recall or somewhere the setting in between those. And your test set will contain documents that you really should divide into documents that are used for testing and for training. So you want to be able to tell how well your classification module's working just by the results within your classification training batch. So once you train you can analyze and tune and use our various tools to see what some of the problems are. And to correct those problems, you can add additional samples or correct markup errors. What do we mean by that? Those are errors that come up again and again and again where people place documents in folders when we're creating a separate folder for each class, and they make a mistake and they put a document from class B with images from class A. And those kind of markup errors, of course, are going to make your classification results of a lower quality. So we have analysis tools available at the project setup station. They're also available in Flexi Layout Studio. We have a panel for quickly assigning classes. We've got the ability to set reference class by subfolder name. That's a real time saver. And we have the ability to search for similar images when we are doing debugging of classification.